Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that you have had a great morning, and thank you for coming to my lightning talk and indeed all of the ones that you're going to see in this session. It's somewhat intimidating to think that I have just 5 minutes to talk to you about how you can improve the assessment of learning outcomes through technology in a world where AI is so prevalent and is such a hot button topic, be it in academia or in any part of our daily lives. So this is my attempt to condense down then 5 points into those 5 minutes. What I hope they do is give you food for thought to go away within your institution, within your own context, to think about how they might be something that you discuss with others to work out what you're going to do. So the first of my 5 points is perhaps a strange one for someone who works at a technology company. My brief history is that I was a lawyer, then I was an academic, then I worked in digital education, and now I work for a digital assessment platform. So my first point is the technology isn't the change. It's not the technology that's going to do this. It's you as academics. The best use of technology, whether it be today, whether it be yesterday and what we've done, or tomorrow with AI, is how academics leverage this technology that's around us and evolving and improving to improve the learning outcomes and the student outcomes that we see. So why then do I start with this? Is it not technology? Well, technology is that enabler. It's an opportunity to say, if we are going to change technologically, which we have the ability to do, we have the capacity to do, we have the time to do, it's also an opportunity to re-examine what we do educationally. What is our pedagogy? What is our reason for assessing? How do we assess? To what extent are we still assessing because we've always done that? I can recall investigating when I was an academic why we did something in an assessment context, and we went back through almost the chain of causation until we realized no one actually knew. There was probably a good reason some time ago when the world looked very different. So technology bizarrely provides us with that opportunity to look at the non-technology and say, why do we do what we do? Something we ought to do more often, no matter what our context, but particularly now with the rate of change. An example of this moves into that second point, summative assessment. The talk of authenticity. The importance of our assessments being authentic is probably an area where that re-examination needs to be almost more severe. Summative assessments in some contexts look the same as they did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100 years ago. We've assessed in a way that was perhaps entirely relevant for the time in which it was invented, but not now. If our students, part of their purpose, not their sole purpose, but part of their purpose is to do assessments that are relevant to what they're supposed to be doing, then it's important, isn't it, that those assessments reflect what they're supposed to be doing. That in a world with AI, in a world with technology, that is how their assessments are, and that their assessments reflect the world in which we live. 3 more points then. Point number 3. Formative assessment. Technology gives you the ability to do something that educationally we've been doing for a long time, but with ease. The ability to give students lots of assessment points to practice, to understand, to develop. And that moves into point 4, marking and feedback. We can harness the power of technology to give students feedback in a much richer context than we did before by taking away some of the administrative burden and giving us more time to give feedback. To, where possible, give automated feedback. That doesn't reduce the educator's importance. Arguably, it gives them more time to do that crafted individual feedback, whereas the more automated or general feedback can be leveraged through technology. And then finally, into the data that it provides. Technology gives us the opportunity to use data in a way that we couldn't before, because previously, people would take a very long time to have to analyze pieces of paper and submissions from students. But we have data that we can use within technology. But I'm really keen that we use this smartly and with our students, because I believe that we should give students all the data that we can. If we are taking data, if we're keeping data in whatever context or jurisdiction we're in, let's share it with the students. But also, as educators, give them that context that helps them understand what they are seeing and why they are seeing it. So all of the technology, all of the opportunity we have, the artificial intelligence that gets better and better and seems to be doing better at assessments as the weeks and months go on, that should be our way of saying, let's re-examine the education around this. Let's use the technology to make things better, but by deciding that we're going to improve what we do educationally or change what we do educationally, and the technology just follows behind to allow me to do that. It's not the technology driving it, it is the academics, it is the educators, and it is that education that is at the heart of it. That is probably just under 5 minutes, but that is my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ishan, for your insights. And it was a bit over 5 minutes, but it's still good. Thank you very much. Let me allow a quick reminder for every attendees, for every guest, that the speakers, because we don't have an interaction part here, the speakers will be available after the lightning talks at the networking tables. If you return to the lobby after this session, you'll find Netzwerktische, networking tables, where the speakers here will be available for further discussion. And that being said, I hand over to Caterina for her 5 minutes on the lightning stage.
Thank you, Anne. Let me just share my screen quickly. All right, so I think you should now be able to see my screen. I hope, otherwise, Anne, please shout out to me. So thank you so much for joining this lightning stage and also listening to my talk, which is about being part of the conversation, fostering knowledge and understanding about AI in non-tech students, which is what I did and am also at the moment doing in my course at university. But before I dive into that, let's just briefly reflect on why do we need to foster AI knowledge and understanding also in non-tech students, apart from all the discussions which are heatedly still taking place since the publication of OpenAI's ChatGPT and so on. Why do we need this? Because we need to ensure quality education, which nowadays needs to include AI literacy, teaching and fostering. And also, of course, if we want to contribute to a future and also a present where AI tools are used for the benefit of all humanity, it has become clear that inter-transdisciplinary approaches to developing and working on AI are essential. So this is why in my course called Understanding Artificial Intelligence and Facing Its Challenges, which is an introductory university course about AI, open to students of all disciplines, I attempt and intend to foster students' basic AI literacy skills. Students do not need to have any prior knowledge in AI. And I have held this course in summer term 2022, and also I'm teaching it this semester together with a colleague. It has 5 ECTS and is based on a digitally enhanced challenge-based learning approach, which I am developing as part of my PhD research. So let me just give you a glimpse of what challenge-based learning is and how it can foster AI knowledge and understanding. So challenge-based learning is an active approach to teaching and learning where students of different disciplines come together to collaborate in teams to solve, but first also select and define, and then work on an authentic, relevant, and open-ended challenge. So in this class, of course, that was in the area of artificial intelligence. And by doing so, the students deepen their understanding of the topic as well as develop disciplinary and transdisciplinary competences. And let me give you a brief overview of what this looked like in my class, how I designed this. approach and integrated challenge-based learning. So first off, as you can see here, it was a blended learning course because after first meeting, the students completed on their own the MOOC, the Massive Open Online Course Elements of AI, which was also accompanied by a virtual meeting at halftime and a second virtual meeting at the end of the MOOC. And students at all times were doing activities on Moodle, especially reflecting and sharing their thoughts on the topics on the MOOC. And what the purpose of this first section of the course really is to make sure there's a leveling and a common ground of knowledge for then the next phase of the course, which is the in-person sessions, where students then start to select their challenge, work on it, and produce a tangible outcome at the end in their teams made up of students from different disciplines. And to hopefully not exceed my 5 minutes here, let me come to a close and share some student voices to show how they became part of the conversation. So students in their feedback, for example, stated I would be interested in further working with my team on this challenge, maybe in a catch-up course. And also their feedback clearly showed that they had learned a lot in the area, especially a lot of students came in only knowing or the knowledge of AI being restricted to what they learned in popular media. So not really an accurate representation. And through all this reflection and then also being able to work on their own challenge, which they all felt ownership towards, they really at the end walked out of this class feeling that they now could be part of the conversation of AI and even contribute to making the field a better one. So thank you so much for your attention, and please do join me in the networking table later on.
Thank you, Caterina, for your experience, for sharing your experiences and your insights. And with no further ado, next guest is Monika, and the lightning stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and here we are. So can you all see the screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Wonderful. Okay, so my name is Monika Pröbster. I'm from University of Heilbronn, and I'm presenting you Kira, our project that is a user-centered approach and AI-based matching of learners and labor markets needs. So basically, I'm going to start with the initial situations. At the moment, there are lots of needs and challenges in the world of work, especially further education and training is in a state of upheaval. There are disruptive transformations in many sectors like e-mobility. And of course, employees need to get qualified faster and also get into new occupational fields. And also the intervals for updating professional knowledges are much shorter than they used to be. These changes are often described with 4 words: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, which are characteristics of these changes. On the other hand, there are also lots of changes and challenges, but also chances for further education and training.
Up to you, Monika.
Yes.
You are. I can only see your first slide.
Oh, that's not good. Thank you for telling me. Because I'm already on the 3rd. let's see. Maybe we can. Do you now see the second one?
No, sorry.
That's not. Click here. And now?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to solve this problem now, but maybe you can.
Now?
No, it's just this double effect again.
Yeah, but now maybe?
Yeah, and then you can, if we can see the slides from there, yes.
Slide from here, so I would just, like this?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, good.
I think that works.
That works, okay, so we can just do it like this. Okay, thank you for telling me. So here I was here talking about further education. So basically there are also challenges, and on the one hand we have lots of digital opportunities and convenient access, but on the other hand people also expect to get tailored offerings, and they need flexible, individualized further education, which can be achieved with the use of AI technologies, for example. So the situation, it looks like this. On the one hand, we have the learners' requirements, their individual needs, their goals, their qualifications, gender and diversity aspects. And on the other hand, we have labor market policy requirements for qualification offers, because they want to tap into the potential of skilled workers. They have certain needs. And these two requirements sort of meet on digital platforms for further education and training. So these is where these two come together and hopefully can find a good solution. Further on, our project is also located in the region Heilbronn-Franken, where there is lots of industry and lots of changes happening at the moment. And there was a study called Future Skills Study that assessed the need of companies, and experts basically told them about the requirements of the industry at the moment. And they did a very thorough study and found 4 types of skills that are very relevant at the moment. Technical skills.
Sorry, Monika, I'll interrupt you again. If you want to share, we can. You're still on slide 3, so
no.
So we cannot see what you're talking about.
Oh no, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Well. Okay.
If you clicked on the 3rd slide.
Yes, I clicked on the 3rd one, and now.
If you click further, we can't. It's still not working.
It's no.
Okay.
I'm not now on the 4th one.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay. Okay, that's it. It seems to freeze regularly. Okay, I will just try it for the last time, and then.
But it was still valuable to listen to you without you know.
I think I would just have click here. This is this one again. So can you see the 4th slide now?
Initial situation, yes.
Yes. Okay, that's what I talked about just now, and that's the 5.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, yeah, that's also the study that was undertaken in the region. To summarize it, one essential element is also that the generic skills like interpersonal skills and creativity, motivation, and so on are also very important factors that need to be considered. So this brings us to our project, Kira, AA-supported matching of individual and labor market requirements. So our objective is the development and testing of the conceptual and data technical prerequisites for user-centered individualization of further education offers with reference to company and labor market policy success characteristics. So what does that mean exactly, and how did we tackle it? First of all, we started with a requirement analysis. That means we did a survey and descriptions of the context of the use of individuals that are persons who are looking for job opportunities, who are the learners, so to speak. We did interviews also with the learning platform that we work together with, and did analysis, made scenarios and personas, and found influencing factors. So we also did this with a requirement analysis, a survey and description of the labor market, where we also did this with our associated partners. Generally speaking, the project is a collaborative project. It's not only Hochschule Heilbronn, but Fraunhofer, WBS Training, and DHBW, which are also involved in the project. So we basically did this whole project together. And finally, with these gathered data, we have some data for our matching. And the idea is that client profiles with their expertise, competences, values, and attitude, and job profiles should be matched. For example, let's see our vision that we have a client's profile that matches a job or a profession to a certain degree, for example, 74%, and then Kira AI finds a potential and also develop further education courses, and the graduate profile fits the job for 92%, basically. So that's, thank you very much for your attention. And
thank you, Monika. I really didn't want to stress you out now with the technical issues as well.
Okay.
But everyone's welcome to join you at the Netzwerktisch, the networking table, to discuss further, and maybe you can share some more ideas there.
Of course, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have the last 5 minutes, and welcome Stefan on the lightning stage for the final talk.
Thank you. I hope everybody can see my shared screen. If not, we'll make it work otherwise. So welcome everybody. I'll try and be brief. So I'm presenting today a project that we're running at Westfälische Hochschule in Gelsenkirchen with the goal of reducing student dropout. I have here data from 2015 to 2022 with all the reasons that were registered for student exmatriculation, so students leaving the university. And as you can see in the red area there, about 41% of our students in that time left without acquiring a degree. So if you compare that, the national average in Germany is about 28%. So that's massively high. And the idea was we should try and reduce that number by using an AI-based system that can basically predict students at risk, so we can then approach these students and see if and how we can support them better so they can manage to acquire a degree. That meant for us, the first step was to understand why students leave the institution without a degree. So why do they drop out? We adapted a model from Barbara Kirby, which she published in 2015, which is based on an older model by Vincent Tinto from 1975, which is basically the first theoretical understanding of student dropout. And as you can see, there are various factors. Key are the outcomes to the very far right. So basically, this model guided us in selecting data points that existed within the institution about specific students, which may be indicative of them struggling in their studies. So we looked at what data is available at our institution, but will be in similar ways available at most higher education institutions. So you see here we have performance data. VHS uses HIS-GX and HIS in one, so campus management systems. So that includes all the exams, all the grades, all the credit points that a student has collected over time. Then we have data from the quality management systems. Everybody who's in higher education will be familiar with that concept of students rating their classes after the semester. So anything that goes through there is potentially available. Then we have the online learning platform data. In our case, it's Moodle, that shows a student activity. And at VHS, there's a first semester background survey that we can also use. The trick is for us to basically collect data from all these different sources and string them together in a two-dimensional data frame that allows us to identify single students, so we can potentially see any struggles they have. Currently, we're focusing on performance data, so on campus management data, which is the data that is most consistent, that dates back until, like I just told you earlier, 2015. So we have a rather large data set of 17,104 students who have left the university, who can then be used to train an AI to basically understand certain correlations, understand certain triggers that may lead to a student dropping out, i.e. exmatriculation without a degree, or at least not with moving on to a different subjects, field of study, or a different university. So that's currently what we're working on. The other systems prove a little more difficult. Moodle, for instance, doesn't have a long data backlog, so we cannot really make that work for AI yet. So we're looking into solutions for that little problem that we're having with that. Same with the quality management, because quality management data oftentimes does not have any identifying data for the students, so it's completely anonymized. Again, doesn't help us very much because we cannot relate that data to specific students. So this is basically a presentation of our work in progress, trying to figure out how to reduce student dropout using AI, and a couple of the hurdles we're facing. And with this, I thank you for your attention. If you want to contact me, I'll be in the networking table area, and there's my email down there. Thank you so much.